Okay, so yeah, it's a little bit different setup today, but we'll go with what we have. Anyways, as I said, welcome back to Partickhill Station. Been gone for about 2 months in terms of live presentations. So the first time back's always the hardest. It's a bit glitchy. Okay. Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, I was in, as you may have seen from the videos I made, I was in California and I was in Georgia and then on to Florida. Didn't see any British trains, but I saw lots of other trains. And you know, it was kind of strange being away from the layout. I was twiddling my thumbs a lot. Didn't quite know what to do with myself at times. But that's what happens when you go on vacation, especially a long vacation. Sounding fine now. Oh, that's good. All right, so let's just get back in here and see what we can show. So I've made an effort, as you'll be able to see there. I've changed the wiring so that it's down underneath the table, and here too, which is, it's going to be my shuttle service, and that will be the next topic. So the shuttle service, and it's all the way around here and back into this little station where it drops passengers, picks them up, and then all the way back around again till it gets to the main station. Anyway, so that was, I'm just going to get this one on here. The other thing I want to speak about at this point, see, one of the cameras is gone already. So that one's gone. I'll need to check that in a minute. Anyway, you know the story behind the shuttle. I purchased the one item. Turns out that was for signals, and you know who got that one. And then I purchased another one at the recommendation of the manufacturer, but I should have bought 2 pieces instead of just one. And let's see if I can see it. Yeah, that there, that's the one piece. But there was a second piece that I should have purchased. So while I was in Los Angeles, I went to train tracks, and let's just see if I can. Right, so I went to train tracks, and I bought this unit here. It's an AR1 by Circuitron. The guy said it will work a treat. A little bit shaky here, sorry about that. Anyway, so how this one works, it might be different from what you've got, is there are these 2 little sensors here. You can see that inside this packet. And one would go here where I had that diode. I don't need the diode now, so the one sensor will go there, and the other sensor will go here around the station. And then that's why I've set up the 2 wires here. I hope you can see that. Oh, yeah. I've set up the 2 wires here, and that will run back and into this unit. So that's my next task, is to install that. And I'm going to try and drive it from, I'm going to try and drive it from this control unit here. Sorry about the camera work, it's a bit dodgy today and I'm not sure why. Anyway, so that should be a relatively easy setup there. But it was very frustrating trying to get things to work. So how has everybody been? Yeah, they are tiny. Yeah, very tiny. So I'll need to be careful installing them. Okay, so another thing I've got here is this camera again. Okay, so these here are cardboard straws that I picked up at some of the bars, restaurants in Los Angeles, and I'll paint the ends of it, and that can be a load for one of the wagons. Yeah, see, that one's frozen again. Yeah, so as I say, that could end up being a nice load for a wagon. Just tie it with some straps. You can, maybe cut up thin lengths of masking tape, or use chains and put it onto a wagon. So that might come in handy. And I was doing a little bit more work with the styrofoam, and I sliced this piece up and marked it out on the other side and the top, and I'll paint it up, and that'll be a nice little wall somewhere. And if it works out, once I put some flock on it, I'll put it in strategic locations around the layouts. You've probably seen this before, but this is just my attempt at it. Right? Let's see if I can get. Yeah, you see, I'm not really sure what's going on with this camera, because it's gone a bit wonky on me, and I'm not sure why. So in the corner here, I've put in these girders for a bridge, and got a bus underneath it. Probably do something with that. I've got a little bit of a backdrop behind. We'll see how that goes. And then so I received a package in the mail yesterday. Sort of good timing. And one thing I'll mention about receiving these packages is, if you're going to do an unboxing or unpackaging, as I'm doing today, make sure that you don't have the side with your address on it. Like, just show the back of it. You don't want to be giving too much information out. Anyway, the contents of this you'll find interesting. just going to rip it open here. So what this is, the steel weights for balancing wheels. And I've had a few of these lying around, but I thought it'd be a good idea to get a box of them and show them. Now this was about, with tax, about $17. And as you can see, they come in strips, but they're individual. And these are a 1/4 ounce, which is 7 grams. And what you can do with, and the nice thing about it is, you know, they come with the adhesive tape on the back, and I wouldn't be tearing these off. I would use scissors to cut in between, and that way you won't damage the adhesive tape. And then what you can do is, those locomotives that you have that don't run well because they're not heavy enough, and you know, some of the HS3s and others could do with a little bit of weight. So, you know, you can stick these on, try them out. If it still needs a little bit more adhesion to the rail, then just add in a couple of others. Yeah, wagon weights as well, rule 1. They're really excellent, and you know, for about $16 I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with 2, 4, 6, 8, 48 pieces in that little box, and that would be terrific for, as you say, for wagons that bobble around, and I've got a few here, and also for the locals like HST or the Channel Tunnel train. They can all use a little bit of help, and that's a great way to do it, and a small investment. Doesn't cost that much. Yeah, 12 ounces Flymo. Yeah, well, 48 times 7 grams, or 1/4 an ounce. You can do the math. Yeah, so that's a great idea, and I just thought it'd be good to bring that up and chat about it, because I'm sure we've all had these issues. So going back to my tenement building, you know, I've thought about this and thought about it, and I've been trying to get it complete, but it's just, you know, one thing after another, and you know, it gets put further back in the schedule. Anyway, I was out the other day at an electronics warehouse where they sell all these bits and pieces, and I picked up some LEDs, the strip ones, the white indoor, and this should be a relatively simple exercise, because they're in, as you've probably seen, and you probably have them, they're in strips of 3, and cut it off and then join them up. So what I'll do is I'll put holes in some of these floors and walls, and I'll pass it through and put a couple of lights in it, and then I'll get to finishing off the building itself. So there's been I have a few things that I've got to do in terms of train repair, and I've been dabbling a little bit, trying to figure out what the story is with the EM2. So the Aurora is it's a little bit troublesome right now, and I've got to get back into that. And this one here, it requires a little bit more work, and I'm not really sure what the issue is. This was pre-owned, and maybe there's an element missing, maybe a little brass washer. I have to open up the sheet and see, have a look at the drawing with the parts on it, and see if I can spot where the actual problem is. Yeah, that looks like a good shot. As you see, the tunnel still needs completed, and I've got a bit of work to do on that. But the plan is in place. We'll get another wall here at the front, and then I'll create a flat area that I can move some of these buildings onto. And maybe, I'm not really sure yet, but maybe have some kind of a station here. It's a little bit down the road, but it's going in the general direction. I'm not really sure how clear you hear me when I turn my back to the mic. The Blue Yeti is supposed to be Lewis Cartwright. Good evening and welcome to Partickhill Station. Good to see you here. Alan Reynolds. Yeah, back home now, Alan. It was a long way to be, it was a long time to be away. You know what that's like. And as I said earlier, it was strange being away from my trains. Now we'll see what's happening here. Always something going on. So the you know, there's not a huge number of train stores down in LA. They're few and far between, and you had to drive a fair distance to find them. But great selection, and for those like Digger that likes Walther's buildings, you know, like a massive selection there, all kinds of buildings to be constructed. Chris Hales, good evening. I'm using super glue to fix a class 37. Yeah, very good. But just be careful with that super glue, Chris. Anyway, I found that train shack, as I said, and like a great selection, and the people were very good and helpful. So if you're ever over that neck of the woods, you might want to check it out. So the usual thing is, the challenge is setting up what's got to be done first, set priorities, and try and take an approach that will return, you know, a substantial reward in achieving some goals. And as I said, the first thing I've been into is the wiring. To try and improve the wiring so that I don't have wires running under tracks and across the table. And I want to build a couple of shelves around the side of the table that I can locate some of the controls on, just to make it easier. And it very well might be that some of the improvements I've been trying to do have resulted in a bit of a flaw with some of the trains not seeming to run right now, which is rather annoying. So I guess the big news over this side of the pond is that the Great British Train Show will be held at the end of April and the beginning of May. And I'll be committed to going there for 2 days. Because I'm a member of the club, and you know, it'll give me an opportunity to try and sell some excess stock, or stock that I've got doubles of. You know, I have 2 APT sets in boxes, which you've seen, and I'll try and sell one of those. I also have the unopened boxes of the Harry Potter set issued by Bachman. It's a really nice set, and they use the Lima coaches. Yeah, nice set, and I have 2 of them. So I may just try and sell the 2 of them because they'd look nice on any layout, especially if someone's interested in Harry Potter. Plus I've got too many coaches, LMS, LNER, and it's really time to try and cull the herd, as they say. Yeah, Digger, we had snow and hail yesterday. Uh, Today it's 16 degrees and then it's going to be windy this afternoon. So it's obviously it's not over till it's over. So I was watching Bunter's yard yesterday, and he had done a 3D print of a wagon, the top of the wagon that he was going to use to carry some 3D printed engine blocks. And he went through the whole process of getting the print, cleaning it up because it was resin. He made a little error, he broke one of the stanchions, but he fixed it, and then he went about the process of painting it and weathering and adding chains, and at the end of it, it just looked tremendous. And you know, I might just have a go at that when I get some time. So have you all been to a show recently? I know there's been a few advertised over there, and I know that one or two of you actually made it to a show and did some filming. Of course, Model Rail Scotland, I was there, I guess it was 2 years ago, just before everything shut down. Really enjoyed that. And interestingly enough, Andy Russell, whom some of you might know, is a member of a group there, and their layout has tram cars. So I was looking through this year's Model Rail Scotland footage, and I found Andy, somebody had filmed as they were passing by their stand, and he confirmed that yes, that was him leaning over the end of the table. So I seem to have a fault somewhere in the line. Not really sure where it is, but it's a bit of a pain when these things don't work. I had them going just before I came on. I was trying to test everything. Often, doesn't matter how hard you test, it doesn't always work when it comes to going live. So Chris, how did you find the show at the SCC? I know how you got there, but how did you find the show? Found the problem. Just bear with me while I fix this. think I've got a couple of wagons here that could use a little bit of weight, as we had just mentioned. Yeah, the SCC is a good location. Not too far from where I lived until the age of 11 or 12, before we demolished that area and sent everybody out to the suburbs. And at that time, I think I may have told you, my brother had passed away. And so I was over there for the funeral. And he lived sort of in the northwest part of the city. And I took the blue train from there down to the SCC, which was really handy. And you know, I try to use it whenever I'm back there. I'm trying to run a train here with those fish vans, but they are all very light and delicate, and do have a tendency to come off the track. So you really got to keep your wits about you, just like right now. It's just that some wagons run better than others, and you can very quickly discover the culprits. But you really don't want that occurring when you're trying to go live and things derail on you. It's a bit embarrassing, but you know, we bear with it and try and get things done. So I also, I'm just going to switch around here. I'd also picked up some H-beams for columns. And Alan Reynolds, if you're still watching, listening, I'll use these to build the structure for the water tank up at Strathspey Heritage Centre, and also to frame the underside of the bridge to make it look realistic, and maybe across the top to give some stability to the main girders. So it's good material and realistic, and will come in handy. Now, I made this a number of years ago when I was doing that oil tank that I built, and inside, below the oil tank, I'll just grab it here, can't really see, but down in there are some of these. And I think what I did was chopped them all up and then applied them to this piece of card, and that was going to be the base for the oil tank. So you can imagine, there you go, there's a 3D printed pressure vessel, but assuming that was an oil tank, that's how it would look. With a little wall around it. So it's kind of that easy to put things together, come up with ideas. Anyway, once you've got them on there, it's quite easy to cut them up and use them in different places. And that's what I'll do. I'll find a spot where I can utilise these. Now the other thing is, you're familiar with these wooden stir sticks. I would always grab a bunch when I was in Starbucks, you know, paying $5 or $6 for a cup of coffee. I want something for free, being Scottish, so I would always nip a bunch of those, a handful. But when I was down in California, I found these ones that are narrower, not as wide, and they'll come in handy for a myriad of things. So, you know, I'll think of something to do with this. Now, Barry Davis, you all know Barry. He does some great work on YouTube every morning. Try and watch his latest show, and I did send a note thanking him for doing the Black 5, because he's got a couple of Black 5s, and as you may know, I've got a few too, and this is the very one, 45192 he was speaking about, and as you can see, the tender chassis is broken off, and I can't get it glued back together, so I'm hunting for a replacement. I'll probably need two, because I think there's another one that's in dire straits, as I say. So the end of April, when I go to this show, this will be on a list. And you know, the other thing I didn't realise, this Ringfield type motor, it's actually a Fleischmann motor, and that's probably why it runs so well. And there are a couple of them have that Fleischmann motor. Here's another one, the same. And there's a third one around here somewhere. It's probably in a box or a drawer. It's got a slightly different arrangement. It has two individual weights at either end of the tender. And Barry said that's the best arrangement because it makes it easier for you to service the motor. Tom Houston. Yeah, Tom, like, they are very, very good. They run really smoothly, and you know, if you're in the market to get a Black 5, look for that particular silver seal model. And if you go to the show and you have some on display, I would ask if you could remove the tender top to see which kind of motor it has. And these are of a high quality, there's absolutely no question. Milliput. Yeah, good idea, Bill. Good idea. I've got Milliput. I'll maybe look into that because I tried gluing it and it just wouldn't work. Right? Just very frustrating. So I'm going to ask a question here. So I can use this one. I'm going to have to unplug it for a minute. Now, let me just see here. Okay. So as you see, I spoke about this before. I changed the track there, just to get an alternative run with the main line. But what I didn't realise was, in doing that, I've cut out the feed to this track, and the train will run through there, but it won't run all the way back. So maybe I have to run another set of wires to a separate controller at this point. Maybe somebody out there can give me an idea if that's the best approach or isolators. I'm really not sure. Not 100% clear on that, but that's been bothering me. And the same thing applies to all these points around here. Sometimes when I change the points and I'm running a train, I'll get a bit of creep that this one will sort of inch up to that point there. And I'm kind of guessing that what that's saying is I should have an isolator in there. I was trying to do a little bit of reading on it, but I didn't easily find the answers I was looking for, but I will presume that that is in fact the case. Hello Clive, haven't spoken to you for a while. As you know, I've been away on vacation, extended vacation. I hope all is well with you. And yeah, shout out to Bernie, wishing him all the best. Yeah, Tom, plastic card and 2-part adhesive with Araldite. Yeah, that might be the way to go. I'm not really sure. Yeah, Flymo, I might try that. Of course, what it means is again. And in that particular case there, now what Barry did was, instead of having 2 wires there, he got it broken down to just 1 wire, and he changed the method of connecting the loco to the tender using the more modern or traditional pin. I'll need to ask Barry exactly how he accomplished that, and maybe I'll go back into his video that he did on it and review it again, because it was really interesting. And innovative. Like Barry is very innovative. He knows all the tricks of the trade, and he worked in the railways for years, and he knows what's what. So I trust his word.
I can go over here.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. You see, when I first started this, you go back 3 or 4 years ago in my channel, and you'll see I had one track in here, and I would run the Coronation Scot, and then I got a little bit more confidence and start adding bits and pieces till eventually I come up with this. But it's a sort of amateur's approach to running a model railway, because it could be so much more efficient, and that's why I took the chance. I'll do this shuttle. I can actually get it to run, but I need it to stop, sit for a while, and then go back. And as it says on here, the graphics are really very simple. They suggested putting the power in the middle, which I have done, and then one of these sensors at either end. And I watched a guy this morning on YouTube who did this, and he had a different type of sensor at either end of the track with 2 different scales, and they both work no problem.
The stuff, that was quite a hard one.
Yeah, I heard they've gone back in. Yeah, I hope everything works out for them. So Bill, what are you working on today? You certainly get a fair selection of locos coming by your station in a state of need. I've got a bunch of stuff up there that requires different bits and pieces, but as you rightly pointed out, I was going to send over that Hornby 00 A4, but it's so heavy, and I never priced it, but it would be a fair dollar to get it over there, and then, as you said, getting the parts, whatever. So that's too bad. Maybe I'll find somebody who could use it or need it, and just make it as a donation. So I also picked up different bits and pieces. I've got this Fowler Super Expert glue, plastic cement, and then Zapagap. They'll come in useful for something. And then yesterday I was looking over John's Amazing Trains, and let's get back to the train. Talking of which, back to the trains. So I was watching John's Amazing Trains, and he's done a lot of interesting stuff. He did a whole show on couplings, I think he did a couple of shows on it. Very detailed information and the pros and cons of all the different ones. And you know, I've got probably like everybody else a number of wagons and also locals that get different couplings and some don't match up and so on and so forth. So um, it was a good insight into the Y4s and where all running or mismatched wagons and coaches, and another reason why a lot of the stuff derails. So the E3000, I've got two of these somewhere. There's another one in a box somewhere, but this one runs very well. Yeah, I'll need to have a look at that Flymo and just take it apart. But first, I'm going to have another look at Barry's video on it, take some notes, and then check it out, see how it goes. And I was, we were out for a walk the other day, and these trees that you see, these ones, let's see, not sure, yeah, these ones. There are loads of them out on the main road on Young Street, where the town is lined both sides of the road. You know, they've been there since last year, and they're all that colour. So next time we're out, I'm going to take a plastic bag with me and chop off a whole bunch of them, and I can really fill this whole, well, a few areas in the layout with trees, and really dress it up. And if you're out walking down by a beach or a river, you know, just keep your eye out for what would appear to be dead trees that you can place strategically around your layout. That always comes in handy, and they're very good looking. Alright, Digger, take care, we'll see you later. Yeah, that's a secret. Yeah, yeah, and the 440, that was a good one too. So, like everybody else, you know, I watch your video and then go, oh, I've got one of those. I should try that, and of course, it worked. Maybe not as quickly as yours, but it eventually works if I stick with it and get it done. So I'm also looking for those like 3D printed stove washers, dryers. I saw them on a couple of the layouts, and then I searched around the internet to see if we could find the STL files for them. I found some. They're in HO scale, which might not be that much out of place, especially you know, that given that I intend to put them into the scrapyard. Worst case scenario is if I get the file, I can try and change the scale, or just replicate it on the little CAD system I've got. Yeah, that is the triangle one, and as I say, Clive, I think I've got another one somewhere. I just haven't pulled it out. Because what I had done was, at one point, you know, with these plastic boxes, you know, and I spoke about, well, I should really catalogue what I've got. And I did that, and I went through and I put a number under every local, and started a spreadsheet saying, you know, it's a runner, missing a buffer, etc., and trying to put an approximate value against it, just to make it easier for everybody else. And you know, I did have two of those. What I'll do is I'll dig them out, dig the other one out, and get it up there. So Chris, get to the right side here. Let me just close that. Okay, so yeah, it's always difficult doing it this way. I was right the first time. Okay, let's do it. So that paper that I used for the arches and the retaining wall are as close as I could get to the stonework at the SCC station in Glasgow. If you took the train there and you got off at the station, all the retaining walls and arches are made with those large stone structures. And I'd searched and searched for it, and once again Andy Russell was helpful in sending me in the right direction. Excuse me. So I was quite pleased to get that. And as I say, that's a task that I have to complete. It's not always what you know, it's who you know. And that's what makes the community great, is that we can all gather like this and chat about a hobby, an interest, and develop skills and learn from each other. Four of them, Clive. Wow, you're a lucky boy. So when are we going to see them running? Yeah, very good, Bill. Always keep your eye peeled, because you never know what you'll find out there. Yeah, we got to see those, Clive. Not that I don't believe you, but I'd just like to see them. Yeah, this thing with the cameras, it's not always a perfect situation. Yeah, see, that's a bit odd. So the one camera is in a vertical position, and it's gone off. Oh, it's back on again. And I'm not really sure why that is, because it doesn't matter which way I turn it. So there's something odd taking place. Something odd taking place with that camera. And, having been away for 2 months, or like 6 weeks, or whatever it was, forget things, and, details like that. So I'd been fiddling with that camera before I went live, and it was working okay, then it wasn't working. You know how it goes. I'm just going to move this back, I think, and see if I can get it in somewhere. Okay. Now that's a great runner also, and it looks really good as it comes around through the station. Bye Flymo, we'll catch you later. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, the cameras are beginning to crap out, and I'm not really sure why. Yeah, thanks, Flymo. Yeah, there you go, that looks pretty good. It's a great view. Anyway, it's been on for an hour. That's been pretty good, and great to catch up with everybody. So hopefully next time I'm able to get the cameras running so that I can get some better views on here. And if there's anything you'd like to see, let me know. If anybody's interested in purchasing any of this stuff, let me know, because maybe I can find a way to get it over to the UK at a reasonable price. And remember, it's dollars here as opposed to pounds. So anyway, yeah, Lewis, thanks for joining. And I hope to see you again here at Partickhill Station. And I'll certainly work harder at getting things up and running smoother, and see if I can find some other interesting stuff. So everybody take care out there, and anybody see Bernie, say hi. And John Champs 123. I don't know if John watches YouTube, but he does live around Nottingham, and I should give him a call because I've got his phone number somewhere, and it's been a while since I actually spoke with him. Such a great guy with a lot of interesting stuff. No, that's not the APT, Clive. That's a Channel locomotive. Is it the class 91 or 97, whatever one it is? I'll get the APTs out next time. That's what I'll do, because everybody likes to see them, and I know for sure that one of them is running. The other one just needs a little bit of TLC, and I might be able to do that before next week. And I hope that I'm not encroaching on anybody else's channel time. I had a bit of trouble scheduling it this week. We'll see how it goes, and I look forward to seeing everybody here back at the station, and wish you all the best, and take care, and keep us posted about your travels around your railway, and whatever show that you get to. Do a little bit of filming, take some photographs and post them. Sorry, the Eurostar. Yeah. Well done, Lewis. I just tongue-tied. I'll get it right one of these times. Anyway, thanks very much. I'll just let this run out, and we'll see you next time here at Partickhill Station with the Eurostar racing through the station. Bye for now.